Snarf.
I managed to hit the record button right as Millie was saying Prilosec.
Are we all really high? Like, are we all really high right now? Is this what's happening?
It's the post-holiday.
I'm in Maryland. It's sea level across the board here.
I'm definitely very high.
Oh my gosh, I was just excited because I went to Publix today after work, and they had mud pie. Not like, mud, like,
No, we get it. Not from the ground. We understand.
No, sorry. I was just trying to think of, like, am I the only one who calls it that? No, other people call it that.
We are extensively well-traveled. We've heard many things.
Yeah. Does it involve bourbon?
I've had to edit a lot of my colloquial sayings depending on where it is in the country I am.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, wait. And I've lived in a bunch of them, so it's like, wait, which region did I pick up that saying in?
I lived in Maryland
here?
for 10 years before I learned the true meaning of bless your heart.
Oh, Fury.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Oh,
sweetie.
bless your heart.
Yeah.
That one too.
And I got very upset, not because anyone ever said it to me, but they always said it about my wife.
Oh.
Yes.
Kill them.
Actually, that's not that isn't a Maryland thing though.
No, that's not really too much of a Maryland thing.
The Maryland thing is, oh, bless your heart, hon.
Well, there are many people who I work with professionally. Well, clearly I work with them then, who were from states that were further south. And when I pointed out, hey, I know what that means now, when they were saying that about my wife, they said, oh, no, I didn't mean it that way. But at the same time, yeah, you just said that about my wife when I was talking about her dialysis treatments. Thank you very much. So, moving forward.
Actually was
Hello.
sincere. That was a sincere bless your heart. It's weird. There's like a definition 1, definition 2.
Yeah.
Like if someone says, I like how you insist that all these notifications I sent you about your homework not being done just never got to you. I like how you're insisting that.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah, like my
I'm
mom
not a
had-
racist, but
Oh, no, don't even go there.
bless your
I
heart.
have actually heard that said non-ironically.
Yeah, my
Oh,
mother
so have I.
actually, just this past week, sent this one student of hers their graded paper back 3 times. And after the 3rd time of her being like, no, like, here's your freaking edited paper, they responded with another copy of their paper going, I don't know if you got it, but here's my paper.
Ah, jeez.
And
Last
my mom
week I
just,
got
like,
plagiarized for the
Bless
second time.
your stupid heart. Bless
La-
your...
Last week I had a student take something I had written and hand it in for a grade.
Oh,
Yeah, but your
It is-
people aren't college students.
Eh.
I'm not saying
Still.
that it's not still a brand of excellence, but it was definitely...
I would argue it's a very low bar to, when choosing to plagiarize, choosing to not plagiarize the teacher who is grading you at that point.
that is
Yeah.
brave to try that.
Yeah, you get 5 points for bravery.
Yeah,
So,
that's some
all you get.
bravery right there.
I don't think the first time they attempted it, they were aware that they were plagiarizing me specifically, but this time around, it was the sample I gave them. So I want you to make something that uses this format. Here's an image of it done correctly.
These
So they took
words.
that and pasted it. So, with that said, let's start the real intro, because this has gone on so long that no one will keep listening afterwards.
See, I'm just still thinking about
Here's
Maryland.
you,
and
I'm entertaining no matter what I'm talking about.
we got to get this ambulance out of the way so we can get this Arthur to the Baltimore Orioles game at the Camden Yards.
Dad, Mom's trying to make me have plot in my storyline again.
It's okay. We understand people have faults.
Hello, and welcome to Critical Knowledge, a homebrew 5th edition campaign where being off the rails is the rails. Because after they saved the world, they decided on their own that they were going to open a children's theater. And their first production was the Charlie Brown Christmas special, which If you haven't listened to the last session, you probably should, because it was hilarious. I don't know if anyone outside of our group will enjoy that session as much as I did, but it was a wonderful collection of chaos.
I genuinely don't know what put this in my head. But I was 100% certain you were going to say Charlie Brown and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
100% the Oompa
That's an
Loompa.
interesting mashup.
But
Willy
also
Wonka
Charlie-
pulling the football away, saying, "You get nothing."
You're a
with that,
blockhead, Charlie Brown.
with that said, my name is Crash. I will be your DM for the evening. One could argue that it's my job to wrangle this party. No, I refuse. With me tonight are a bunch of people who will not be contained, including Chris, Ellie, April, Matt, Millie, and Eric. We've got a full crew. The show that the session that we used to have 3 people and we had to cancel a lot of nights because we couldn't get all 3. Now we have 6 tonight. So let's see how this goes. Now I already talked a little bit about what happened last week. So what did I skip?
This is the chat that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on.
So I was a cow and baby Jesus. We were really good at keeping the kiddos entertained. One of the matrons for the orphanage is actually the angel who tried to kill me in my sleep. But then they got mad at me for using my testy tube to mess with the lights, and they promised to get me a new testy tube, but then they didn't because they were too busy being an angel.
Okay.
And
So you were a cow and the baby Jesus?
Not at the same
yeah,
time.
you were there.
There was a costume change. At least I hope there was a costume change. You didn't actually specify, and I'm not going to add details that you didn't.
Yeah, we're not gonna go too far into that. We're gonna let that one just figure itself out.
Jesus, how do you feel about your gifts? No.
Bro, here's your frankincense. Bro.
No.
And we had a great time. And then Crash forced the angel into the audience, and we're like, ugh. Also, they had this orange drink that they watered down too much to sell for the children's. And I missed my entrance because of the angel, because they tried talking to me about my testy too. And we made money.
You did make money. It was
Will
a
you
profitable
please
show.
spell testy too?
Huh?
I'm alarmed at the word testy too.
I came with it on the fly because I'm really good at making up made-up English words like thingamajigs. And the testy 2 is the undead arm from one of the zombies we found in the train tunnel that I used to poke things that I
Technically, it
didn't
was
want
a
to touch
white,
myself.
not a zombie.
The clock, the
I forgot
Cypher
the word
white.
white. I
white,
forgot
yeah.
the word cipher white for a minute.
Cipher
so I
white, that's what it was. Cipher
So
white. Couldn't think of the word.
I
was gonna say
inputted the
clockwork.
word. Yeah, so I inputted the name. I put into the name zombie. But anyways, so that one of the cipher whites that we killed because I wanted to test the milk river, and so I used the bone hand to do so. And apparently that's sacrilege or heresy or whatever, according to the angel.
Well, it's
But,
desecration
that's-
of a corpse.
and that's not my problem if it's your morals. Mom and Dad and Father and Auntie Nix didn't tell me that I couldn't keep it. So therefore it's okay.
I would argue that you've probably worn them down at this point where they're just going like, okay, well, at least it's not the entire corpse.
Yeah,
And she's not trying to eat it.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
Like the thing is that though, like I trust them to let me know when I need to, like when I'm going a little bit too far. But they are the only ones who I will listen to.
So far, they've only stepped in when someone was about to be killed.
Which,
They
that's fair.
stopped me
That's what
from
most parents
eating.
would do in real life.
Mom's told me to not eat the cipher I found.
So you stuck it on your head instead.
No, she took it.
Oh, that one. That's right.
And you guys all made me promise to ask you before I stuck anything in my mouth in the future, and I have mostly done that.
Mostly.
I will not ever do definitives. Yes,
So-
we're still on the recap.
Yeah, Chris is asking in the chat if we're showing the recap. If you feel very lost, that's okay, because I'm the DM,
We
and
all
last week I felt very lost. Not during the recap. So
Most recaps are me defending my choices as a character.
the recaps are still done in Millie is using the voice of their character to give the recap and painting things as seen through a different lens.
And this story's lens is a child who is 7 foot tall.
This has come up on occasion. So, with that said, the person who you keep insisting is an angel, but has a severe lack
How
of
does anyone
wings.
react?
Oh, I love they might be Giants references. I mean, these things happen to other people. They don't happen at all.
Where's
in
the
fact.
Shriners?
There are no Shriners. Only Ogmanites.
Oh no.
So
Do
her
they have
name
the cool
is
hats and fezzes? Please let them have the fezzes.
well, they are gnomes, so they have pointy red hats. They don't look like they're cut off partway up, but there are a few of them that say they're doctors that are in fact wearing fezzes. Just saying. That's the
Awesome.
thing.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
mostly
I'm good now.
experimenting with space-time variables, but never mind about that.
We keep saying she's an angel, but I really feel like I've seen her before as a hotel detective.
I don't even know who we're referring to.
Me either.
There was a
it's,
picture 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks,
yeah,
2 weeks ago.
basically, your character, when your character sees them, because they will be at an event in this session, probably, unless the party goes off. Not that this party ever goes off in a weird direction, like opening a children's theater.
Unfortunately, the party has gone off, and we're going to have to throw them away and get a whole new party.
Oh, I hate when the party goes. You know what? Sometimes you're supposed to keep them in the refrigerator. Sometimes you're not supposed to. It turns out tomatoes and people you don't keep in the refrigerator.
It's rotten!
With that said, the person in question is a 6 foot tall human, a little bit over 6 foot tall human with dark skin, and no one asks if she lifts because it's obvious.
That she doesn't.
That she's so short.
Compared to a tabaxi, yes. Well, her name is Excella, and she does in fact bring Hero a device, which is basically a long stick with a button on one end and a pincher on the other, and if you press the button, the pincher opens and closes.
Is it just like a grabber?
It's like a grabber, but it's also collapsible.
Is it a man catcher?
It is
Like
not.
that?
It's not that large. No, it is not like the GIF you have shared, because that is incredibly childish. I mean, it's wonderful. I want 3. But at the same time,
It fits.
it's not that. This is something that would be an adequate replacement for your Testy 2, also without the odor or being covered in rotten flesh.
It's half the charm. Somewhere
OSHA breathes a sigh of relief.
Also, a lot of parents who had to stop their kids from going over and wanting to touch it. That GIF, by the way, is mesmerizing.
It really is. I actually had to minimize Discord because I kept staring.
But she offers you this thing in exchange for the arm of a corpse that you have been using to poke things. Yes, Chris, I know. Do we have a
Testy
deal?
2-2.
I mean, whatever you want to call it.
Testy dose.
I'm going to give this arm last rites, I guess. I don't quite know how to do that for an arm, but...
Does the arm have rights?
well, it seems to be a left arm, but that's not what you meant.
Does the left arm have rights?
I'm going to go now. You are very confusing. I apologize.
I was asking
that
that.
sounded insulting. Oh yeah. Excella is still saying this awkward goodbye as you have totally stopped paying attention to her. And then walking out. Just as awkward.
Dad,
Yes.
why does the left arm have rights?
Everything has rights.
But the lady was saying that the undead, that the Testy 2 arm that I had has to go get its rights. Like, what does that mean?
Good question. I can't answer that one for you.
I thought you were
That is for you to determine.
I thought that you were the cleric.
Sometimes you have to find things out for yourself.
Oh, what's the point of having a dad?
The point is getting answers that you don't appreciate. This is clear.
Dads.
Enter a point where one of either dad or father, I don't care which, and this is not canon unless you decide to make it be. I just think this is funny if it did happen. Either dad or father says, well, someday you'll have children and you'll understand. And then Hero's reaction to this.
Yeah. No, I won't.
Yeah.
which is irrelevant, because then whoever says this would then realize there's a concept where Hero would have kids of his own. Hero raising a child. Okay, I'm terrified. What's your next play going to be?
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear
I
me?
thought I lost everybody. I'm on an extender that sometimes decides to wink out.
So I made a joke that didn't fly, and
Ah.
now the question is, what's your next play going to be? There were some suggestions before we got started.
Do we want to consider a musical? Or I should say another musical.
I mean, there were several people who were interested in the possibility of Hamilton. Charlie Brown and the Chocolate Factory was a possibility, apparently.
Charlie Brown and the Chocolate Factory?
Yes.
Also, well, let's see, we can do Charlie Brown Hanukkah or Charlie Brown. What's your deity, Dad?
Tire.
Charlie
god of
Brown
war.
Tires. Charlie Brown Tire. It's mainly about Lucy. We all know Lucy would be like a war cleric, right?
Clearly.
No. Trickery domain.
Yeah, but like the thing is that with the football and the screaming and
Well, yeah, the
also
football
having
is trickery
the
domain.
thing, yeah, but we definitely know that she would be a more offensively boasted like cleric, right?
Peppermint Patty,
Anyway.
perhaps.
But yeah, Charlie Brown in one of the holidays of Tyre.
Snoopy would be a ranger.
Absolutely.
Woodstock is the animal companion.
Well, the Tweety, Woodstock.
And favorite enemy is the cat next door.
Proficient in vehicles.
Yes, Chris, you are very confused because you're paying attention. You are paying attention. At this point, like, I'm just rolling with it. Bottom line, you have finished your production of the Charlie Brown Christmas special. What's your next production going to be?
Fight Club.
But is that safe for the children at the orphanage?
It's about doing fights on Friday nights.
Yeah, but you
No,
have
it
to
is good
talk
for them
about
to
it.
learn that lesson now.
I mean, some of them might grow up to be fighters. They haven't picked a class yet.
And, they have to learn how to defend themselves from when they leave the orphanage.
Okay, well, the one that's starting fires all the time has apparently gone with Sorcerer already, but still.
True, it's true.
Okay, well, we can workshop what the actual production will be at a later point, but you reach a point where you are putting on another show, and we can say it's Fight Club. It's Fight Club Junior. So it's Fight Club, but without all of the stuff that is too grown up for kids to really get removed, which...
Kids prop version.
So it's actually like a half-hour show. You could do several shows a night. You had to add some filler to get it to be half an hour.
It's Kid Bop in nature.
Oh, Kids Bop Fight Club, yes. you replaced all the bad words
That
with
totally
other words
works.
altogether.
That totally works.
No, it doesn't. That's what makes it better.
I know.
So you got... you have,
about Fight Club. Not talking about Fight Club.
so it's opening night, and you have a full house because of how many people enjoyed the previous production. The orphans are back. The volunteers selling watered down orange drink are back, but this time they're not selling watered down orange drink. They're selling watered down apple drink. It's totally different.
Ooh.
Yes. And Excella is also there because of course she is. She's been helping out with the orphanage a lot. You got a packed crowd. And question, Chris, would your character be interested in going to a production where they actually call it Fight Club?
Yes. Extremely interested.
You're not quite sure what the KIDZ or the BOP in front of Fight Club mean. Maybe it's a regional thing, but you're new in town. You don't know.
I
But hey,
want it to
Fight
be
Club.
known that the Kids Bop Fight Club, like booklets are done with pink glitter crayon and felt.
I hate this. I hate this.
And
His
I
interest suddenly plummets.
Yes, I also want it to be known that when I see that lady, I purposefully go over dramatically use Testy 2 to work the lights.
Give me a perception check.
Okay, let's see. I got a 19.
Okay. She gives you a nod in approval, but it's slight enough that you're fairly certain that you are the only one who saw her give the nod of approval.
You know what? That's all that matters to me.
Okay. So, Chris, your character, who's... Now I got the wrong thing open. Thandrin. Thandrin Stone. Your character has purchased a ticket to see Kids Bop Fight Club, and once you're through the door and you're handed the playbill and you see that it is done with glitter crayon,
He regrets everything.
and you see there are people selling watered down apple drink. They're not calling it apple juice. They're specifically calling it apple drink, and if someone calls it apple juice, they correct them. Those are the refreshments. There's a sign that says it's for the orphanage, which is nice.
Which
but-
I would, seeing the sign, I would think, oh, raising money for the orphanage. Then seeing inside, oh, for the orphanage. Okay.
And then the production starts, and just one person give me a performance check. Just one.
Let's go.
Because this is not we're not going to be itemizing everything that happens like we did last week.
Okay, I got another 19.
Okay, so the production is, well, Thandrin is a monk. So Thandrin is trained in the martial arts and fighting and all of that, and you're aware that it's a play, so that they're not doing real fighting, but you still
we're not?
can't... Oh, wait, this is Hero.
Yeah,
Does Hero actually, try to land blows?
The thing is that only on the party members who Hero knows can take it.
Okay, so dad and father.
Yeah, dad and father.
I know they're called Jaren and Xanthus, but let's face it, they're called dad and father now, because Hero has adopted them. Okay, so you look at this, and your first thought is, wow, their stage combat is really good. I mean, that looked like it really landed. That's a black eye. That really landed.
Yeah, and yet both dad and father can heal themselves of wounds, so...
I can heal others too, so I don't feel as bad.
Yeah, the ranger has cure wounds, the paladin has cure wounds, the cleric has cure wounds.
Also lay on hands.
Mass healing.
I lay on
engage.
Yeah, that's the intermission.
Laying on hands on. Okay, everybody's all right.
So with that said, I would like everyone who can hear the sound of my voice and is actually in the game, because people listening to the stream, maybe you don't have to do this, to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Patient.
Ooh, I'm not horrible at that.
First roll of the campaign for me, natural 20.
Oh, you're fine.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
19 in a row.
Except I rolled a 5.
Are you just looking at the dice over and over again and saying, well, if I don't touch it, it's going to be a 19 again?
I'm clicking on
Because
the
that's what I would do.
website.
I have a +7 in wisdom. That's 25.
Okay, you're doing great. You are all doing incredibly well. I have stats for the crowd.
No, we're not.
Well, everyone
the thing
except
is, you
the
can't
paladin
pay
with a history of
attention
rolling
if you
low.
don't know anything.
Yep.
You can't have perception, and you can't have.
I have a +3. I should have done better, but no.
Yeah, well, you had a 5 plus 3, so you got a whole 8. That's a number.
Better.
Did you
Numbers.
find yourself in the pit orchestra on accident?
No, this
I don't know. I'm about
this
to
wasn't
find
a
out.
performance check. This was a save.
This is saving throw.
So were you planning on having a smoke machine working for this production?
I mean, I think that sounds rad as heck.
But were you planning on it? Did you have one?
No.
I'm asking
Kira doesn't
because
do the
there-
plans.
No,
There
you wouldn't
is-
be able to. We wouldn't be able to see the fights that well. So I don't think
because there it seems like someone turned one on.
so. Oops.
Be on fire.
Now there is a thin layer of it on the stage, which is slightly elevated from the rest of the audience for obvious reasons. But it's a bit thicker in the audience because, for obvious reasons, the audience is a bit lower than the stage. So
Who's smoking?
Probably someone on fire.
No smoking policy. There are children here.
it
My
doesn't
lungs
smell
are
like
very
smoke.
sensitive.
Oh,
The-
it doesn't smell like smoke.
There are children here in our reproduction of Fight Club. How dare you?
It is the Kids
That's the
Bob
Kids
version.
Bob
We are
version.
fine.
I mean, yes. I mean, would you be able to say Fight Club in the Kids Bop version? Would you have to change it to like Argument
Lunchtime?
Club or Disagreement Club or something like that? Well, in any case, Xanthus, you rolled an 8, so you failed your save.
Yes, I did.
Not April. There is no April, only Nyx. Nyx got a 16, which passes. So, only 2 people failed. Well, no, only 2 categories failed. One is Xanthus, the paladin who can't have nice things, and the other is the audience, not including Chris's new character. So guess what? Your movement is reduced to 0. You are incredibly frightened. You are seeing images and things like spectral figures that are coming out of the fog and making threatening gestures at you. This was not
Drugs
part.
in my
This was
play?
this was not part of the tech rehearsal. None of you remember this part. And the audience is starting to make noises that they are also not happy. There are children crying. There are adults crying. And what was the target number? The target number was 13. Ooh, because it says if a creature fails the saving throw by 5 or more, it is afflicted with short-term madness.
Yay!
Oh,
A good time was had by all. How are you going to replicate this the next night, though? That's the question.
I'll just go into zoomies in the middle of the play.
So I'm going to ask everyone to roll for initiative.
Why
Uh-oh.
is plot in my play?
The paladin failed a wisdom saving throw and has gone insane.
Yep.
5.
2. That's with the +1.
Is the paladin father or dad? That's father, right?
Yeah.
That's father.
Father.
Okay, so father is going to be slightly harder for me to pin down with my 23. But I am ready to pounce.
And that's another 8.
It is the magic number of the day.
Yes. Now, different number rolled, different modifier, or lack thereof.
Something tells me this is going to be a single-digit night for Xanthus.
Okay. So, Hero, you're on stage, and you thought you were rocking it pretty well. The performance did seem to be going quite good, but the audience is freaking out, and some of them seem to be attacking. Like there are people who are lifting chairs over their heads. This is not Jerry Springer, but apparently it might be WWE. What would you like to do? Also, Father seems to be a little upset.
Is he like violently upset or just kind of like, I'm miffed?
I'm going to let Matt decide what I've read can be interpreted as, but he's not in his right mind.
Well, is he? Because that decides which one I'm doing. That just...
So all the research about right brain versus left brain, it's actually not real research. There's no evidence that shows that the right brain and the left side of the brain are different personality types. In case you were wondering.
Can I see where the smoke is coming from?
Give me a perception check.
No.
I got a dirty
Then-
20.
7.
Okay, so surprising no one, the ADD suffering Tabaxi child did not notice where the fog rolled in from.
I'm actually
Now-
usually good at that.
The gnome with true sight for an extended distance, however, noticed very quickly that it rolled in from underneath the main entrance door. It didn't even buy a ticket.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. I don't like that this is happening because I was killing it. And
Well, now they
aren't
might be.
paying attention to me. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use my super jumping, super running ability because I am a tabaxi. And I am going to leap towards the front door because I am going to stop people from, escaping and hurting others.
Okay.
And I am also, going to be the bouncer because I'm also, I am actor / art director / bouncer because I am a 7-foot-tall cat.
Okay.
He means bouncing literally.
You're Tigger.
Yes, I am.
And the wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things. But do Tiggers have an AC of 12
Yeah,
or higher?
I have a 15.
Okay. Several members of the audience do try to invoke an attack of opportunity on your way to the door, but they are unable to hit you due to your feline agility.
An athlete and I have feline agility.
No
Yeah,
one
so
knocks things off of the countertop better than Hero.
Right, I got it just so I could climb muffin stands. I'm ready. I hate that that's canon.
I mean, you decided to make it canon. You have no one to blame for yourself. This is why we can't have these things.
It's completely in character, but that is actually the conversation that sparked me getting that.
Okay, so you've gone to the door to try to encourage people to leave, correct?
And just to be the bouncer if anyone people are getting rough, but if anyone starts actually being super violent, I will then leap on them. Or if anyone tries to destroy anything, I will be able to leap on them. There's a lot of leaping on people.
Okay.
Plus, I am ready to cast Ensnaring Strike if I really have to keep anyone down.
Okay. So you have made it to the door, and you're preparing to do what you want to do. So now it is the fog's turn.
Fog a character?
Apparently so. Or there's characters in the fog
Crash,
That-
I don't like this.
that reach out and try to stop you from going out the door because you just spent all of your movement to get to it. And that is... that is a 24 to hit.
Oh, yeah. What the heck?
That's 10 points of cold damage.
I don't like that.
And just for fun, it tries again. That is a 16.
So hits.
Okay. So that is another 10 points of cold damage. It's a figure rises up out of the fog and just goes through you. And as it goes through you, you get the cold damage. And it dissipates into more fog and then settles down to
Danger.
the ground again. And another one rises up from a different direction and does the same thing to you.
I'm in danger.
Cue the Ralph Wiggum gif.
Except that took 2/3 of my health.
Okay. The door opens, and there is a cloaked figure on the other side of the door. And they look you up and down and say, "Isn't the production still going on? You shouldn't be leaving yet."
Multiple roles, multiple hats. Now I gotta be the bouncer. And I don't think you have a ticket, sir.
That may be true, but I don't think that should be your main concern right now. You have an item my master requires. Hand it over.
No. And then since I didn't attack, can I attack now?
You were holding your attack. Yeah, I mean, you were planning on using that on the crowd of innocents that have their minds controlled, but I suppose you can use it on this obvious villain instead.
Well, that's why I was waiting. If anyone was trying to be dangerous, then I would hold them down. But I
know, but now you don't have to worry about necessarily having to attack an innocent who doesn't have any say over what they're doing. You have someone who you can actually try to hit. So go ahead and make your roll.
I'm going to use my daggers. Thank you very much, weird voice. And I am going to cast Ensnaring Strike when I do it.
Look, I've been doing a lot of talking lately, and I haven't gotten time to have a lozenge.
That's not my problem. And I'm going to cast it at 2nd level because I want to. So make a strength saving throw.
Oh, this character is very strong. One of these days I'm going to say that, and I'm actually going to be honest. But in this particular case, that is a 4.
Okay, so Ensnaring Strike works. They are now restrained.
You seem to not
Let's
understand.
see.
I'm not interested in going anywhere. I'm interested in you
that
not going
sucks.
anywhere either. And I'm in the doorway.
I don't really care because I'm doing damage to you. So let's see. So it's that plus... I have a question. Does a 17 hit?
I'll give it to you this time.
Okay, because I have a +7 to my hit. I love being a ranger. Anyway, so let's see. So it's that plus that. That
It's
is,
like
yeah,
Vex
okay.
with less self-control.
Oh, and that. So I did 19 points of damage,
Okay, noted.
and you're restrained.
Okay. It's a good thing that this character is immune to tabaxi damage.
Try me.
I
I made sure to do it with the daggers because I can tell that's what he's after, and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna kill
He
you with
doesn't
that.
care about the daggers. He wants the bracers.
Yeah, but the bracer is making the daggers, so it's like,
The point is, it's Thandrin's turn. Thandrin, you have seen everything that's taking place. You are in the worst production, possibly. Okay, third worst production that you have ever attended.
the next one is the Kids Bop Club combined with Justin Bieber music.
Well, at that point, this will go down to fourth worst. But, with this said, Thandrin, you are... I'm assuming you were near the back of the audience?
Yep, I'm super confused as to everything that's going on.
Well, that's because you're paying attention.
But obviously, yep. So I just saw the Tabaxi jump off the stage and essentially wrap this random person at the door into vines and thorns and restrain them. No context on it. Okay, so I don't know who the good one is and the bad one is.
Also, you saw the fog attack the Tabaxi twice.
The fog did attack the Tabaxi. Okay, and it's very obvious that this person is creating the fog.
Possibly.
Okay.
Or maybe it's the Tabaxi doing it the whole time, and this person is the superhero that came in to rescue. That's a stretch. Probably not.
I feel like Hero is well enough known in the neighborhood as the like cat child of everyone.
Thandrin just got here.
Okay, well, I'm going to... Yeah, I just got here. I'm going to do some cool monk stuff and trying to get my way over to the thing that looks like it's creating the fog. And murder.
Okay.
I'll just do 2 unarmed strikes. And he's restrained, isn't he?
He is currently restrained.
Okay, then advantage. Wunderbar.
Don't punch the thorns.
That is not great. That is a 13 for the first.
That misses. Your fist bounces
Okay.
off some field of force that is surrounding this being.
Well, it's a natural 20 for the second.
Okay, you feel a breaking sensation, like you've punched a window with something soft and squishy on the other side of the window. It's almost as if
Okay.
you had enough of a punch to go through the mage armor.
So that's 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
Are your fists considered to be magical weapons?
I believe they are at this point. Let me double check. Because I know they do eventually, but I don't know if it is now. No, I don't believe my fists are magical yet. I think that's level 6.
Okay, well then you're only doing half damage.
I know
That's fine.
I know that power kicks in at level 6 for druids, so it might behoove to come in at monk as well.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay, I will.
Power if I didn't roll a 2.
You're the healer. It's okay to go last. Also, you're the one who does the finishing moves, like Voltron pulling out his sword at the end of each session.
Exactly. I am going to dump a key point and do a flurry of blows, so 2 additional strikes. Still restrained, so still at advantage. Let's try and do math. Math hurts. 19.
A 19 will hit.
Okay, and that second one will not. 2 plus 4, 6 points of damage, and extract aspects.
Is that 6 the half damage?
6 is not halved yet, so that would
Okay,
be 3
so you're doing
damage
3.
and extract aspects.
Okay, so what do you want to know?
I get to learn damage vulnerabilities, damage resistances, damage immunities, and condition immunities.
Okay, damage resistances. Necrotic. Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. Damage immunities. Poison. Condition immunities. Exhaustion and poisoned. Also, it doesn't take much of a perception check to reveal that you are punching a dead guy. I mean, he's still standing, He's still looking at you with indifference, maybe a little rage, but mostly indifference. But he's been dead for a while.
Yeah.
You feel like you might have to wash your hands after this.
Gross. That's my turn.
Okay. Xanthus, you are still not in your right mind.
Nope. I found a nice little section here called Short-Term Madness, and I rolled a number, and a little chart that I found told me that I would probably be having vivid hallucinations. So I'm going to do, when in danger or in doubt, run in circles, scream and shout. I'm going to scream at the top of my lungs, run around on the stage or wherever I'm at, using up all my
movement
movement.
is still 0, though. So
Oh, I can't run. Then I will scream and shout and try to use my new ability called Dark to see if I can hide from the hallucinations I'm currently suffering.
okay.
It goes out 15-foot radius from my position.
So suddenly there's
I don't
this
know
dark
how far
sphere on the middle of the stage.
Yes.
Yeah, are you on stage?
Yes.
Because I think I'm gonna be.
We were-
I'm
we were
gonna be
in
in
a scene.
that.
We were in a
Yeah,
scene.
we were on
the
stage doing whatever.
The stage is 15 feet on a side. Like,
Yeah,
it's
but
a
you-
small stage.
Nyx has true sight, though, so you're just like...
so
well,
I can see through it.
yeah, you don't
No,
even notice
it's
that there's a
darkness.
darkness sphere.
Oh, you have true sight. You can see through it.
Okay.
I mean, dark vision will allow you to see through it. I can see through it because it's my darkness. But
Darkness.
other people would have problems unless they have dark vision.
No parents. Oh, wait, that actually applies to Xanthus. That joke song still applies to... Are you Batman? Never mind.
Darkness.
I would like
Okay.
to still say that this is the worst cover of Twist and Shout I've ever heard.
I mean, probably still accurate.
So I want to cast Magic Missile at the dead guy.
Exquisite Dead Guy?
At the
Don't
dead
stop
guy.
the They Might Be Giants references. I am a fan of all of these.
Am I paralyzed or just have 0 movement?
Your movement is reduced to 0 is what it says.
Okay, so I'm not paralyzed. Okay.
No, you are not.
All right. I hit them for 10.
Okay. And I'm remembering this time, unlike last time you cast Magic Missile, that 10 is a damage number and not a roll to hit. I'm learning. I've only been DMing for
Yes.
Okay, so your beams of magical energy fly out and hit the dead guy, and he takes a half step back from the impact, looks down at the giant holes in the middle of his torso, and says, "This changes nothing," and then collapses into a pile of rotting meat and bones.
Ew.
But congratulations, you got a kill.
Arm?
What?
Not now. It's not your turn. Why do we have a character that's fascinated with taking the arms off of corpses? Not just corpses,
Well, their
undead.
last character was fascinated with taking the teeth out of corpses, so
Not necessarily out
there's a
of
pattern
corpses.
emerging.
Not necessarily out of corpses, just teeth in general.
It was the Tooth Fairy.
No, you weren't. You just said you were.
I believed it. I said it enough times. That
There-
I believed.
There were dentist offices with pictures saying, "Do not admit this Kenku." But
They don't even have teeth. Why are they here?
yes. However, it was a generic picture of a Kenku because they didn't want to be those particular elves, because of course this was an elf city. They didn't want to be that elf, but all Kenku kind of looked alike to them. But yeah. Jaren, you rolled a 2, but it's still your turn now. So
All right.
the corpse is down, but there's still a fog.
Fog. Let's inflict some wounds, shall we? See if we can get any kind of damage, I guess, out of fog. It's just weird, but okay.
I mean, it's right there. You don't have to reach far, so you can try it.
This Scooby.
22?
That's to hit, or is that damage?
No, that's a hit. The damage is 21.
Okay, well the 22 missed. I'm joking. 21 does hit. Let's see. What are its immunities? Okay. Now, what kind of damage does inflict wounds cause?
That's necrotic.
I'm sorry?
That's necrotic damage.
Okay, you had cut out the first time. So I'm going to put in 22 points of necrotic damage. There is significantly
As a
less fog.
bonus-
Bleeding.
As a
You're not
bonus,
bleeding. You're just very, very cold.
As a bonus, I would like to cast Spiritual Weapon It's a radiant mace that wisps by, and we're going to roll a 23, 16 plus 7.
23 is going to also hit by a
That is
lot.
going to be 7 plus 4. That's 11 points of force damage.
Okay. And that's your action and bonus action. So next up, in a move that surprises no one except for the entire audience, and Thandrin, but Thandrin technically you're also the audience as well. But everyone else had gathered that this person who is posing as a human is actually some type of angel, or at least a being with wings and glowing eyes. They become a being with wings and glowing eyes.
Hero is surprised.
All right, that's right. Hero's like the one player last time who didn't catch on. Everyone else was like,
Also,
okay, yeah, that's
why would
obvious.
Hero pay attention?
Also true. Also valid.
This word attention.
It's a thing that other people pay to Hero, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, she pulls out a long sword and attempts to do an attack with it. And that is a hit. She attacks the fog, and I have to switch between two different screens to do this, so pardon me. That is 7 points of damage, but rounded down because for a celestial being, she doesn't have a magical weapon. Go figure. Well, she didn't hang out in a room with a green circle. Apparently, you're supposed to do that.
Understand.
Yeah, she hasn't paid her dues.
I just like to loot dead bodies.
I have concerns.
Well, that's how I got my magic weapon.
It occurs to me that for this character in particular, saying you like to loot dead bodies, that could be taken two different ways, and they are both currently accurate.
You're
Phrasing.
You're right.
Okay, and...
Kids Bop version of Silence of the Lambs.
I'm down for that.
I mean, I will yes and let you do that. I won't stop you from doing that, but oh my gosh, it's horrible. There is no way that can be made anything other than a train wreck, and I suppose I will end up being here for this content.
Well,
So,
I use yellow glitter.
and the last thing that the angel does to end her turn is she does the thing called Battlefield Inspiration. She chooses 3 characters to inspire, and that's going to be Hero.
Yes.
Oddly enough, chooses to not inspire Xanthus. Xanthus has his own problems he needs to work out.
Indeed.
But is also going to inspire Nyx, and, well, Jaren doesn't seem to need inspiration, let's be honest.
Man.
But Thandrin seems to be jumping in to help, and that's kind of nice. So Thandrin's also going to get some inspiration. So your next attack, you get to add a d4 to it. Well, d4 to attack or saving throw.
Nice.
Okay, and now it's the mob's turn.
Crash, I'm sorry that I keep jumping in with comments, but if
No, you're not.
No. But if father was it father or dad who got a 2? Not important.
Dad
was
got
it-
the 2. Dad got
Jaren-
the 2. I'm
Jaren
up on
rolled a
stage
2.
screaming in darkness.
Oh yes. If dad got the 2, how badly did the angel and the mob roll?
Technically, the angel also got a 2, so they were tied.
Okay, because
the
I
mob
was just
got a 1.
concerned.
The mob got a 1.
Okay.
The mob
okay.
has an
No, that
initiative
was-
bonus of -2.
Dad got the 2. I thought you were talking about the other roll.
No, yeah, I was talking about initiative. I was concerned.
Yeah, when it comes to rolling for initiative, when you have a crowd that's basically a mob, they're not known for rolling high on initiative or
You know what? I think they should take initiative. Take it for
making
themselves.
wisdom or
Seize the means of initiative.
My only disappointment is I didn't make that joke. Okay, so
Yeah.
I was rolling while you were talking, by the way. They are attempting to, well, their movement is also 0 because they failed their save. So what they are doing is kind of like, imagine, if you will, the worst mosh pit. And they can only attack people who are near them because their movement is 0. So that is unfortunately going to be, in this case, I'm going to say it's probably going to be Jaren and the angel.
Yep.
And Jaren does a 19 hit.
19 does hit, yes.
Okay, you're taking 9 points of chair damage. It's a folding chair.
That's amazing. Oh, gosh.
You know how sturdy it is. You probably
That-
made it yourself. Which means, at one hand, you're proud that the chair survived the assault against you, but on the other, it wasn't made for that. It's right tool for the job. Where is your Morning Star? Never mind about that.
My shoulder hurts.
They also go after the angel. They roll lower for the
How
angel.
do I react?
She reacts by just letting the chair bounce off of her armor that she was wearing at the time, apparently, and says, I advise ceasing your attack. It will be fruitless. And next up is Sir not appearing in this film because Ellie had to go to bed. And it is now Hero's turn. We survived an entire round of combat. You didn't kill them in one go. Well, you killed one of them in one go.
Woo!
We lived.
So Hero,
Okay, so
you've got...
I rolled a nat 20 plus 5 for a 25 perception check because I want to know what I'm supposed to be going after next.
Probably the fog, because the fog actively attacked you already. It's the only thing that did damage
but
to you.
where is it coming from?
It came through the door that you ran to.
Is there like a source for me to go after, or is it just like now here?
It's everywhere now. Well, actually, with your perception check, I'll say you are noticing because the door is still open. The fog's not rolling out. It is all in.
Oh,
it's not doing
that undead dude summoned it, and now it's just kind of her.
Yeah, it's some sort of like cloud of things, creatures.
I just wanted to make sure there wasn't like an unholy fog machine I had to kill before this battle was done.
I mean, possibly. You don't know. You don't see one. There's a lot of stuff going on right now that you can't wrap your head around. For one thing, the mob stopped paying attention to you. You don't understand that. For another, the fog is only inside. The door is open. It should clearly be in the middle of the doorway, not choosing to go in or out. But that is not taking place.
Do you think that ensnaring strike would work on the fog?
Well, what I think is irrelevant. What does Hero think? I mean, it'll be relevant once you attempt this, but Hero doesn't know. You're fighting fog. You have fought many things, but it was never fog before. Well, not magical fog.
I don't think Hero was paying enough attention to see what other people were doing to the fog.
I mean, that's also valid.
What do you think I'm doing?
There we go with that word attention again.
Anyway, so let's see. I am not a fan of this. I'm looking.
No.
Does the fog count as a creature?
In this case, it is.
Okay. I just wanted to know if my Colossus Slayer counted.
Also, you cannot use a method of curing disease to eliminate the fog. Before you ask.
God dang it! I want to cure death. Let me have this.
Well, if you still had that vial of liquid, you could try it on the corpse that Nyx just re-deadened, but maybe not while the fog is actively attacking.
It's re-detonated. Anyway, so I'm going to cast Hail of Thorns on my magical daggers. The fog is going to cast a dexterity saving throw?
Well, it can attempt to make a dexterity saving throw. What's the target number?
13.
Okay, well, I rolled a 15 on the die.
Gosh dang it! My spell slot! Ruined! Anyway, I mean, I still have to roll, but that was so beautiful amount, too. Okay, what's half of 15?
It's always round down, so it's 7.
Okay, so then
What kind of damage is it?
Well, Jack, actually. Piercing.
Okay. And that was a spell, right?
Yeah, and then I am going to use, but it's going to go on my dagger. So it's my piercing dagger plus 7 HP of piercing stabby thorns.
Okay. But it's magical damage is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Because the daggers themselves
It's
are
all
already magic. Okay.
Everything's magic.
Well, not everything. Thandrin's fists aren't yet, but give them a couple levels.
The thing I'm doing is magic. Does a 15 hit?
15 does hit.
Okay.
I'm just mesmerized by this moth pit gif that you found.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty impressive.
It's
24 points of damage.
24?
Yeah.
It is very dead. Congratulations, you have killed the fog. I would argue that the only person here who thinks, yeah, this makes sense, is Nyx, because Nyx happens to be a wizard. And the rest of you just like, did a 7-foot-tall tabaxi just kill fog?
Thinks this makes sense because I was working very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it dissipates.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Xanthus has come to his senses. The audience has come to their senses and looks very embarrassed. A few of them sort of try to casually walk over to the concession stand.
Do I get extra applause for making Fight Club real?
There's a few people who are kind of half-heartedly clapping because they think that's what they're supposed to do right now. It's opening night. They don't really know what to have expected for the show. But at this point, everyone is very confused. Everyone feels the same way that Chris, the player, does about what has taken place tonight. We've also been playing for over an hour, so we should take a short break.
Okay.
Sounds good.
We're back. I'm going to say the production has come to a close for the evening. The audience has filed out. Several of them stayed behind to put the chairs back. One of them apologized several times to Jaren. It is not the one that threw the chair at Jaren. That was somebody else. This person threw a chair at Jaren and missed. But they've left, and the angel, who I've already said her name is Excella. That's Axcella. It's not Excel as in she keeps everything in a spreadsheet. I realize just now that could be read that way, but that's not how it is read. She stays behind as the last person's going out the door and, bye-bye, have fun now, bye-bye. No, she doesn't do that. Watch your step. No, she doesn't. And as the last person walks out the door, she turns and she doesn't look like an angel anymore. The wings are gone. Her eyes aren't glowing anymore. She looks back at the whole party and says, "That was unexpected.
Now for something completely different."
Please do not take any parts from the zombie, or whatever it was.
Okay. What's your name?
It's Excella. I've told you several times in the past week.
Okay, so Auntie Exie, what was that?
Well, that was some form of undead. And I think so was the fog? That was new.
Why did it want my bracer? I like having daggers. They're my daggers.
I'm not sure I'm allowed to say, but possibly for the opposite reason that I was asked to procure them.
Well, why were you asked to get them, Auntie Exie?
To destroy them.
But they're fun.
I'm not going to do this, but I'm so... it's not within her character. I'm so tempted to have her pull out a little ball that jingles and toss it across the stage.
I was like, what is this? What's his name? Fiddleman.
Fiddle Punch?
Fiddle Punch?
No, your death comes down to Georgia.
Oh, Charlie Daniels.
Deal. It's the reoccurring character that Crash always has that Paige hates.
Mo.
Yes.
Mo. Mo.
What is this, Mo?
This is not Mo, and Mo never did that, so I don't know why you're bringing that up.
No, but you said once when we were just chatting about Hero as a character, you're like, Mo would totally get a jingle ball and throw it.
Okay, I don't remember that part of the conversation, but I do remember making the homebrew magical item that I could actually use.
Yeah.
So that may still happen.
It was while I was streaming. But yes.
After about a minute, Xanthus' darkness field disappears. They're like, okay, they're gone, right?
I did it.
Yes, we were victorious.
Killed the fog. And
What was the fog? I don't remember. I saw the fog and then it disappeared.
It seemed to exert some form of madness. I'm honestly surprised
you gotta think in order to get mad.
Excella has no words to use to reply to that.
Wait a minute. What are you doing here? When did you get here?
I was here at the
Why
start
did you
of the
help
show.
us?
You were being attacked by undead, and there were plenty of bystanders in the vicinity that were being affected. I didn't see why I shouldn't help.
Been helping me
That's
all
awful
week.
noble of you.
They
It
got
comes
me
with
my
profession.
62 too.
Are there any markings or anything on this particular arm, the angel's armor, I guess, if you will? Anything I can find in a religious check or anything?
She no longer looks like she's wearing armor. She looks like she's just wearing like normal street clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Is the corpse still here? Or did that disappear?
It depends. How did you treat the corpse? Otherwise, it's still going to be. Well, I'm assuming you moved it out of the doorway so everyone could leave without having to walk over it. It doesn't make a very good doormat.
My question was, did it like disappear in a puff of smoke, or
It did not.
It's still
the,
here?
the fog dissipated because it was a fog,
Right.
but the corpse
But
is
the
still
corpse
there.
that talked is still here.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, minus the holes that were burned into it from the magic missile. Yes.
Yes, but it made threatening moves and talked in a threatening manner, clearly.
Thorns in
At
it.
least, well, I actually didn't see or hear that part, but I see the corpse is still on the ground.
Thorns are still on it.
So it's still restrained, or
Yeah,
I mean-
I kind of just did that.
It's restrained by death, so yes.
yeah. So clearly somebody is after our items, our particular ciphers or relics. as they
Somebody
were.
besides us, yes.
Somebody what?
Well, and Excella pauses for a moment and then looks over at Hero and then thinks better of looking over at Hero. Then looks over at Jaren and says, He didn't catch on, did he?
No.
To be fair, I was suffering some madness.
Very fair. Well, everyone else noticed. I'm one of the two people who tried to take some things from you last week.
Okay.
A tree while we were sleeping.
You and a partner. I saw your partner.
Yes, he is rather impulsive.
He doesn't. Well, we have Hero, so we understand.
Yeah.
Were you contracted to acquire these items from us?
He was contracted. I was sent along to assist.
Okay. Now, the big question, why? Other than to gain our items. I don't
destroy
imagine
them.
you were told why they were needed. You were just told to acquire them.
Well, he wasn't told.
Yeah. Hey, I want you to go get this stuff from these people. I want it. Okay. And they paid you to do it.
Well, he got paid, yes.
You didn't get paid?
I am
Salaried.
Indebted?
contractually obligated, might be a word to use.
Salaried.
Indebted would suffice. You had no choice.
I'm a celestial being. I'm following orders.
Whose orders?
Who do you think celestial beings follow?
Well,
Jesus! You liked our Christmas play!
I did
There-
like the part about the angels, yes.
there are many celestial beings, as I understand it. Do you report them?
You see Jaren nodding his head with that comment, celestial being. There are many.
Yeah, very many
Current-
celestial beings.
Currently, the goddess Schema.
I don't know that one because I have no training in
There-
religion.
I love the paladin has no religion training. I will allow anyone to make a religion check, but I'm going to say, and I'm still learning new character names. I'm going to say Thandrin would have to make this disadvantage because you're new here.
So wait, what did you say her name is?
Schema.
Oh, wait, am I actually here?
I mean, well, it depends. Did you go home for the night? You're like, this was more fun than I thought it would be,
I have
and then
no
leave?
idea. I have no idea what's going on.
Well,
cow. Paladin is not trained.
Okay,
got a
so
19.
what happened is the audience left because the show ended, and this is basically the rap party, which is the oddest rap party of all time. But the question is, did you stay behind to get answers because you were thoroughly confused, or did you just say, that's a half hour of my life I'm not getting back, and go back to the inn?
I would stay because thoroughly confused and also extremely intrigued at the insanity of all of this.
That's how I get
Welcome.
him.
Welcome to our Thursday.
Like that's both
I get
that's
him.
both Sandrin and Chris.
I met Dad by dropping on him from a tree.
So you said history at disadvantage or religion at disadvantage?
Religion
sorry?
disadvantage because you just got here.
The
Yeah, I got a
natural one.
4.
That
What is
night-
the religion? What?
I appreciate that Xanthus got a 19, so the person who doesn't have religious training is like, oh, yeah, I know who that is.
The player doesn't.
Well, the player
I'm
wouldn't.
assuming this is a Circulus exclusive god.
So this is a throwback. This is a throwback to season 1. So
Okay.
Schema and Mauritia are twin goddesses who originally were the goddesses of planting and harvesting. They were based in Coomridge. They were based in a town in Coomridge that was destroyed by a zombie plague. Whoops.
Our bad.
No, not necessarily your bad.
Yeah,
Blame the ancient green dragon that I threw at the party at level 3 in campaign
Yeah.
1. That was her fault. But the survivors of that particular faith sort of branched out and changed their mode of worship since then. It's been a good 15 years at this point, to be a lot more anti-undead. And they become a bit more militant, and as is the nature of religions in the D&D mythos, when the followers change their beliefs in a certain way, it ends up actually changing the personas of their deities. So Schema and Mauritia are not actually worshipped at the same time. Things swap one way or the other. Priests of Schema can become priests of Mauritia, and vice versa. Initially, if you were planting, you were following Schema. If you were harvesting, you were following Mauritia. So there were seasonal changes. Now it's, if you are planning things, you are a follower of Schema. If you are acting on the plans, if you're being more decisive, you are following Mauritia. But otherwise, it's considered bad luck to worship both at the same time.
I was really hoping that Schema would be tricky.
Well, if you're planning, sometimes trickery is required. Now, this trick didn't work out so well because some of you rolled really well in your perception checks and woke up during the heist. Whoops.
Yep.
You're welcome. So I typed a question a while ago while you guys were actually talking about plot, but can Hero play with the Angel's Wings?
They're not currently out. You don't even see them.
Yeah, they're not there right now.
Anyway, then I'm playing with Father's Tale.
Because of course you are. That's standard.
Mm-hmm.
It can work as a distraction, too.
Yes. So basically, between Xanthus's 19 and the fact that Excella is actually an angel from the domain of Schema and Mauritia, the two of you are able to fill in the rest of the party with the information that I've just shared with you.
Okay.
Basically, the reason why there were attempts to grab your items was from Excella and her rather impetuous temporary companion, who she doesn't mention him by name. She keeps using different adjectives to describe him. Is because your items are believed to be phylacteries.
Oh.
Bless you.
Well, that's... player knows what that is with the character.
I mean, you are a level 5 paladin.
Yeah, I don't want to assume facts, not in evidence.
Okay, so let's put it this way. Excella says, we believe that some of you, actually all of you, I'm actually really surprised that you're here. And she points a finger right at Thandern when she says this, may actually possess phylacteries. And when she sees blank stares from a few of you, she says, the thing that holds the soul of a lich.
Yeah. Well, there's not a way to prove that because, well, as we understand it, these are relics from...
That's why the rocks tasted funny in the Crooked Hills is because it's full of spirits.
You ate rock... Why am I asking?
We were told to investigate. I was thorough.
Well, these are particularly old liches that we have found. They are quite powerful, and before any frontal assault is being attempted, we've decided to acquire their phylacteries in advance. Makes
that
the
would
whole
make
thing much
sense.
easier.
However, I can guarantee, well, maybe I can't guarantee, but these are not phylacteries. I'm not sure how we can test them, test that theory, but I know that a phylactery generally can't. Well, actually, I'm not certain.
Your dad
Excel is just
My-
there
my-
raising one eyebrow as she listens to you.
My particular item, and I will kind of bring it out, contains dedicated magic of healing magic towards typically and dedicated to usually a deity, although I haven't quite deciphered which one yet.
Yes, fancy that.
It is. I find it difficult to believe that this would be a phylactery. Let me close with that. I can cure. I can restore. There's great restorative magic. I don't think phylacteries would have such abilities. I would think that this containing the soul of the lich would corrupt it in some way.
It's just a small part. And
True.
in the case of your particular item, well, who would think to look at a holy relic to see if it was a phylactery for a lich?
This is true. It
Rather
would make
ingenious.
it good. It would make some. It makes some sense to do that, to hide it in an open space, as it were. And again, who would question the authority of someone who says, no, it's a healing relic? They wouldn't look twice at it, perhaps. It's an ingenious, devious plan, and certainly within the mind of a lich, that would work well.
Well, we don't think they were always out and about, to put it that way, but it's been a very long time.
Danger, am I in for having my bracer on?
I am
Like, is my bracer gonna magically turn into a zombie thing, or like, is it just like I have to like if I use it too often I turn into the zombie, or is it like like if I like accidentally cut it and break it, it turns into a zombie, or is it like
if I say yes to any of these, will you let us destroy them?
I just want to understand. I don't do anything without direct permission from dad and father. But I just have questions.
I think it's safe. As I understand how it works, if the lich were to die, if the lich's body were to cease functioning, the lich would then reform near or around the phylactery within a few days. I'm not certain how long it takes.
It depends on the lich, but yes, something like
Yeah.
that. Which would probably
And so-
not be best for you because, as I
Right.
pointed out, these are very, very old phylacteries.
And thus very powerful liches.
Yes.
So, important safety tip. This is the first we've heard of this.
Are you
And I
saying
imagine-
the AOL CD I stuck to my head was a lich?
No,
A what?
Okay.
no, that was the AOL CD was a much lesser powerful magical object.
Those relics and like but then the
Right.
weird relic reading machine also read our apparently lich machines as relics. So what if all the relics are liches? And that's also why the rocks tasted funny.
So
I doubt
that image that Chris has posted to chat of the very confused rabbit, as you start talking about AOL CDs and rocks tasting funny, that is also Excella's expression. The two of you are in the same
weird
boat.
Shiny rock at the entrance to that cave, and also the milky water, and then also the weird train to nowhere, and the green circles, and the electro gate, and like the Kenku turning into cipher whites. What if those are all liches taking over? But like the thing is that like we don't know, and like but then I drank a pill. I drank a thing that was a lich spirit. What if all the were spirits?
No. What Excella here is saying is that our particular items are listed, or being. She was informed that our particular items were phylacteries. The other items we found were not of a level of relic. They were more of a potion.
Because they read the same way to
No, they didn't.
Nightlight's machine.
No, they were a different power. They were a different level of power. They were much weaker.
Okay,
A
what if it was a
phylactery-
baby lich?
There's
A
no such
lichlet.
thing. There's no such thing.
There should be.
There isn't. Generally, one chooses to become a lich. You don't make more liches by having two liches.
Wait,
And
is
mommy
the
lich and a daddy
language
lich.
I learned from the AOL CD lich language?
I don't believe so. Liches don't have their own language. They know only what they learned in life. or after their lichdom.
I am at a complete loss
I'm the
for
only one who knows the language.
the last 5 minutes of conversation. I don't know where to step in, but
Don't worry about it.
the thought was proposed that if we just approached you and said, hello, this magical item you've had for quite some time and find to be quite useful is apparently a Lich's phylactery. Could we destroy it, please? That you would probably say no. So it was
And you would
opted
be
for us
correct.
to go the more clandestine route.
And you would be
Maybe
that would
another
be the
cool
correct
bracelet
assumption.
that'll shoot daggers. I'll think about it.
In all honesty, they've probably spent more money on hiring people to come after you than it would cost to get you another magical item that's similar in power.
I just want to chase daggers that I throw.
Well, at this point also, they've now
Don't they disappear after
Escalated?
you throw them?
Yeah, it's really cool.
How do you chase... Why am I asking?
That's half the fun.
Xanthus, you
Don't
were
ask
saying.
questions.
I make my own red dot.
we don't know what that means either.
Actually, you
Mandarin
do, because you've
slowly
seen
raises
a
his
gnome
hand.
turn on a red dot from a laser pointer.
The human in the back looks very confused, slowly raises his hand.
Yes.
Are you all high?
No,
I mean,
bad maybe, but not high.
I was created in a celestial plane, so one could argue I am a higher being, yes. But to really answer your question, right now I'm really just as confused as you about a lot of things that were just said. I don't even know what
Right.
If you
AOLCD
have-
means.
If you have an hour or so, I could relay the tale. But
I
at
feel
this
like we've just
point-
spent an hour relaying the tale, and I don't feel any better for it. I have more questions than I had before.
It's a very long tale in telling at this point anyway. But to move everything forward, how do we convince whomever is seeking these objects that they are not phylacteries?
You'd probably have to bring them in, and we could try some type of scrying.
I would be acceptable to that. If anything, to get whomever out of our theater and away from the children and orphans,
Out of the theater.
or at least get them to stop hounding us for it. Would the Ogmanites be able to determine if our items were phylacteries or not?
To our knowledge, there aren't any Ogmanites that are currently specializing in studies of the undead.
Whoops, we
Okay.
killed that one.
Are there any? Are there any? Well, are there any other priests who do specialize in the items of the undead in town?
They tend to not remain in town very long.
You yourself
Not
are.
just this town.
Well, you are a celestial being. Are you able to determine this yourself?
That's not in my wheelhouse, no. You'd probably have to speak to one of the clerics of Schema.
And where might we find one? Would that be considered a reliable source?
I would hope so.
I would hope so for your sake, but where would we find one? Can you locate one?
Our main temple is in Coomridge.
I don't know how far away that is.
Literally on the other side of the continent, of the main
Okay,
continent, and you're
So-
on an island on the far side of it.
Yeah, not feasible. Do the priests travel, or do they travel far?
Teleportation circle is not an unknown ability among the followers of Schema and Mauritia.
Would it be possible for you to contact one somehow and bring them here, or have them come here to perform such a test on our items?
They would probably prefer if you went to them.
I don't think we're going to travel that far from here. This is our new home, and it is on the other side of the continent. Although I suppose, paying for a teleportation circle to there, if we could gather enough funds that would not impact the operations of our theater.
We are
Would
not
perhaps-
without funds.
What?
We are not without funds. Being an organization that is dedicated to the destruction of the undead, we have eliminated a significant number of powerful beings with significant amount of treasure. And that's in addition to regular tithes. If I promise you safe passage, would you be opposed to taking a teleportation circle to Coomridge?
I would not. I have no issue with this. I would like to I would like to confirm that my item is not a phylactery, as the appearance of a lich at random tends to, worries me a little. I will say that. And I would rather confirm it from not only for my own peace of mind, but for those around me as well. And I'm sure the others may follow suit. Having a lich appear suddenly, adventure. Having a lich appear somewhere at a surprising moment or at any moment would be probably unpleasant at best, if not fatal.
And best not done in the middle of a city.
Correct.
Or a children's theater.
Or anywhere. I would accept that. Do the rest of you agree that perhaps we should take a trip to Coomridge and visit these priests of Schema to confirm that our items are not going to suddenly sprout liches?
Liches in my phylactery? It's more likely than you think.
More likely than you think.
And
Hero, would you like to go on a trip?
Waiting for other people to say things, but yes, I would like
Nick,
to go on the trip.
Nix, how do you feel?
Well, yeah, I don't want liches just showing up.
A prudent suggestion. At any rate, and we have. I think Jaren would probably agree that liches are bad, being that he's a priest of war. And he's a priest. Period.
One, religious. Step 2.
Step 2. So aside from
Step 3, second highest damage dealer.
Yeah. I think we can make this arrangement. We will have to shutter the theater for a time, but we can simply say that we're making repairs or seeking out new sources of funding for whatever, or costumes, or musical instruments, or training, or whatever. We'll find a way to make it work.
Role play. What if we get like a children's play from the other side of the world and do it?
Well, hey, that's a research trip. I'm all for it. Let's go. On top of that, we also get to find out if our particular items are not phylacteries. Sounds like a plan to everyone?
Should we
Yes.
from the last? What did we do in Coomridge last campaign?
You made a bargain with a winged kobold sorcerer who didn't reveal to you that she was a half-dragon, but was also half-dragon.
Paige do there.
Paige did not meet Zeely, and the world is better for this.
Can Hero meet Zeely?
I mean, Zeely might canonically right now be on the moon, so probably not.
You ruin all of my fun. But okay.
To be fair, her daughter's on the moon. I love this game. I really do. It's the previous session for the other game that we do on Saturdays. There was 45 minutes of discussion about possibly splitting the party.
Their own green circles.
There were no green circles. No,
They made their own.
It was because I introduced an NPC, and the characters were very divided on whether or not the NPC should be allowed to adventure with them. To the point where two of the characters just walked off. One of them was Chris's.
Yep.
And it was great. I did so little talking during that campaign. It was glorious.
You with your voice.
Well, then it's settled. I will make the arrangements. In the morning, I will come and get you, and we will take a journey to Coomridge. I do suggest that you think about what you plan to do when you find out that I'm correct.
New dagger throwing bracelet. That's all I want.
Well, I have a feeling you're not correct, and we'll see what happens.
That's a stubborn head. I mean, father, sorry. Father's being stubborn.
Yes, it's going to take a lot for someone to convince.
I mean,
Xander
he's a paladin.
Yes.
Yeah, and also, like, unlike you guys who, like, actually have a level of, like, attachment to your relics because it's, like, you know, like your family armor or something like that. I got this off a dead body while I was hunting one day.
So you have no emotional attachment to it.
Yeah, like, the thing is, I like it, and I'm going to defend it because it's my favorite toy, but that is... that is the extent of my, like...
Here's another bracelet. Looks just like the one you have. Give me yours. We'll trade. Okay. And then you
Yeah,
want 2.
and this one makes laser lights, and like that's it. Like that's enough for me.
Meanwhile, for Xanthus, it's like, hey, you know that only link to your past, the thing that was found in your crib when you were dropped off at the orphanage? We need to destroy that.
Yeah, not going to happen.
So
He will take the Charlton Heston position of, you can pry it out of my cold, dead hands.
that can be arranged. But no, Excella does not say that. So
No,
she bids her leave.
no, Xanthus
Walks
would not
out the
say
door?
that either.
And then she
That
walks
would be his
back in.
position.
After she walks out the door, she walks back in and says, "Pardon me, I'll take out the trash for you." Picks up what's left of the corpse and takes that with her.
Kind.
Oh, goody. Something we don't have to worry about.
To be fair, I'm mostly taking it because otherwise Hero will probably play with it while I'm gone.
Yeah, we don't need more of that. So,
And that is where we're going to end it for the evening.
yay.
I hope you don't mind the Auntie Exie name.
She seems to have taken it in the same stride that everyone else has taken for their nicknames. It's amazing that you haven't come up with Thandrin's nickname yet, but he just got
I
here.
haven't had enough conversation.
Mostly he punched things to death.
I also have to think about his name for a while to come up with a new one.
So let's do a few quick plugs. Well, thank you everyone for playing. Thank you everyone for listening. Tonight I was joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Chris, April, Matt, Millie. Eric was here, but he had to leave. Ellie was here, but she had to leave. Does anyone want to plug anything?
Not yet. My brother-in-law is working on a new book, and once he has made some more significant progress, I will plug the books again.
And that would probably be at nogodsbeforeus.com.
That would be it. Yes.
I'm also doing a book, and I'm still working on it, but there's a cat named Pickles.
I'm
That's
actually a
all
big fan of the cat named Pickles, but I
You helped
know
come
more.
up with Pickles. You helped come up-
Chris, you want to plug your thing?
My brain's still trying to wrap around everything else.
It's go with the suggestion I gave in chat. Don't worry too much about what Hero is saying. Listen to everyone else.
Yes.
Let Hero's
Most
words
of it's
sort of
Hero.
wash over you like the tides.
But most of it's Hero.
Yes, the Hero part
Don't
is
try to make
overwhelming
sense
for.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I do feel bad if I feel like I am talking to the point that I am hindering someone else's enjoyment, but I am not feeling bad about being the character that I am.
That's valid, I guess. Anyway, AzerothCTC.com. It's a podcast that talks about gaming. A lot recently about the new World of Warcraft expansion, and that's recorded every other week or fortnightly if you want to be fancy. And that is a thing that Chris is involved with as he sits there trying to figure out what the heck has he gotten himself into. But to be fair, it's not the first time.
And yet he keeps coming back.
Yep. And so until next time, this is Crash saying, they keep thinking it's not a phylactery. Whoops.